2 weeks before my 30th birthday, my sister stood in a Cook County courtroom and told a judge I was too unstable to control my own inheritance. Vanessa spoke softly, wearing our father's watch and the expression of a burdened woman. She said I drifted between jobs, imagined conspiracies, and had become obsessed with accusing her of theft. Beside her, my mother, Elaine, cried into a tissue and nodded. I stayed silent. Across the aisle, Vanessa rested her hand on the guardianship petition that would give her control of the $3.2 million trust my father had left me. She believed the money was already hers. Then Judge Harper opened a sealed file, read for several minutes, and looked over her glasses. "Miss Reeves," she asked, "do you actually know who your sister is?" Vanessa blinked. "My name is Claire Reeves. For 5 years I had worked as a lead fraud analyst for a Chicago risk advisory firm. I traced hidden payments, reconstructed altered accounts, and identified shell companies for lawyers and corporate investigators." Vanessa told relatives I did occasional bookkeeping from home. I never corrected her because she never listened. Our father, Daniel, had built a medical supply company. After his death, Vanessa gained control of the business, while my trust was scheduled to transfer on my 30th birthday. What I did not know was that her California investment fund was collapsing. To cover losses, she had routed $1.8 million from our father's company through 3 fake consulting firms. My inheritance was her escape route. Months before the hearing, Vanessa submitted a trust amendment signed by Dad, naming her financial advisor if I became incapable. The bank rejected it because the dates and electronic signature records did not match. So she changed tactics. She asked about the panic attacks I had experienced after Dad died. My mother encouraged honesty. I admitted therapy had helped and that fraud work sometimes made me suspicious of patterns others ignored. They turned those answers into evidence. A psychologist, Dr. Mercer, interviewed me once for 50 minutes, then described my concerns about Vanessa as delusional thinking. 6 weeks later, I was served with the guardianship petition. My lawyer, Tessa Grant, told me emotion would not save me. Records would. Her investigators found the amendment had been created 3 months after Dad's death on Vanessa's office account. The signature had been copied from an old vendor contract. An earlier file was titled Claire Control Draft. Subpoenaed bank records showed money leaving the family company, passing through 3 businesses sharing 1 mailbox, and returning to Vanessa's fund. The psychologist's $18,000 fee had been paid by one of those businesses. His first report draft existed before he interviewed me. Then, my mother left a voicemail begging me to surrender. Vanessa only needed temporary control, she said, until the company audit passed and the missing money was replaced. In court, Vanessa performed perfectly. She trembled. My mother wept. Dr. Mercer spoke about impaired judgment. Then the court-appointed evaluator testified that I lived independently, paid every bill, understood the trust, and showed no incapacity. Judge Harper opened my employer's sealed records. They confirmed my title, income, performance history, and years of handling confidential investigations involving transactions worth hundreds of millions. Vanessa recovered enough to say successful people could still be mentally ill. The judge agreed. Then she held up the forged amendment. "If Claire invented the fraud," she asked, "why was this document created 96 days after your father died?" Vanessa's attorney turned toward her so sharply, his chair scraped the floor. The digital specialist testified first. Device logs showed the final document had been approved from Vanessa's laptop using biometric authentication. Next came Martin Cho, the company's former controller. He had questioned the consulting invoices and been fired. His saved approval logs showed Vanessa authorized every transfer. One email said, "Claire's trust will close the gap before review." Tessa played my mother's voicemail. The courtroom became painfully still. My mother admitted she knew I paid my own bills. She had signed false statements because Vanessa warned the company would fail and the house would be lost. "You traded one daughter's freedom for your comfort," Tessa said. My mother lowered her head. Judge Harper dismissed the petition, released my trust, and referred the forgery and financial records to investigators. Outside the courtroom, federal agents arrested Vanessa for wire fraud and diversion of company funds. "You destroyed Dad's company," she shouted at me. "No," I said. "You gambled it away, then tried to erase me." 18 months later, Vanessa received 9 years in federal prison. My mother received probation and sold the house she had tried to protect. When the trust finally transferred, I hired an independent advisor and invested it carefully. With part of the money, I created a legal aid program for people whose mental health histories were being used to control their finances. I had suffered panic attacks. I had needed therapy. Neither truth made me incompetent. Vanessa tried to steal my future by defining me as broken. Instead, she gave me the evidence to reclaim my name.